Hello, good morning. We're now going to learn about protocol used on application layer. You know. The foremost protocol which is used on application layer is HTTP, Hyper, which stands for Hypertext Markup Language. Hypertext. What is meaning of this hypertext as well? Hypertext is like text with hyper property. So how can we make the text with a hyper range? We can make a text with a hyper range by implementing various by implementing some images, by implementing some videos, okay, from which text become hyper. And that's name predicting. It's a transfer protocol. Matlab, we are going to send one thing from a sender to receiver. And what is protocol? Protocol is something like a set of rules there. It is set of rules. So it is the standard protocol for transforming web pages and their content across the internet. It is the standard protocol for transforming web pages and their content across the internet. Okay. Now, thing is, what is this standard means on the internet domain? What is this standard means to means on this internet domain? Okay. So this hypertext property is actually help us to transfer the hypertext content from sender to receiver. So HTTP is a standard protocol for transforming web pages and their content across the internet. Whenever we access any page, we need to enter HTTP, forward slash, double forward slash. In front of the address tells the browser to communicate over the HTTP. This is the information from which the browser able to understand that this HTTP is actually a protocol, and from this it initiate the fetching process or transforming process. Fetching process from the server, and if the server is there, and transforming process from the server, transforming from that server to some client. So the hypertext transfer protocol is an application protocol for distributed collaborative hypermedia information system that allows user to communicate data over the World Wide Web. First of all, the main sense to produce the word distributed data, that hypertext transfer protocol actually help us to collect the web pages from the different servers as well. If we are able to connect different web pages at a different server on a single DNS, then hypertext protocol makes sure that the distributed hypermedia and the distributed hypermedia is collaborated, and this distributed hypermedia is collaborated and and communicated to on World Wide Web. Okay, as a request response protocol. HTTP gives user a way to interact web resources such as the HTML file by transmitting hypertext messages between the clients and server. And client and server are simple computer systems. The name is given for sake of understanding. Person who is sending, or who is demanding is client. Person who is sending some information is server. In the mean of the time, the momentary I can be as client, and mean of the time, the momentary I can be a server as well. So HTTP client generally use TCP protocol, TCP protocol, which we have discussed in our last lecture. Connection to communicate with the servers. Okay. HTTP utilizes specific request methods in order to perform various tasks. Get request a specific resource in its entirety. HTTP utilizes specific request methods in order to perform various tasks. Get request is specific resources in its entirety. What is mean to say that? Within that HTTP protocol, we have various methods. From this, the various method is distributed collaboration is done. And this method here is get. What does get do? Get request a specific resource in its entirety. Get is responsible for getting the information from the various servers. What head do? Head request is specific resource without the body content. Okay, what post do? And this head body content we will able to understand when we have a knowledge of HTML. Then you will understand HTML start from head and then body section follows. So it is you will able to understand more when you go to the goes toward the HTML page. When you will to understand HTML page, you will understand this head and body content. What is head and body content is all about. Now, what is post? Post adds content, message, or data to a new page under existing web resource. See, each and every step has a method because computer itself hasn't any intellect. We provide intellect towards programming. Who directly modifies an existing web resource or create a new URI, uniform resource indicator if needed. Okay. What is delete? Delete get rid of specific specified resources. What is trace? Trace source users any changes or additions made to a web resource. What is options? Options shows users with HTTP methods are available for a specific URL. What is connect? Connect converts the request connection to a transparent TCP/IP tunnel. What is patch? Patch partially modifies the web resources. What patch do actually? Patch partially modifies the web resources. Okay. All HTTP servers uses the get and head methods. All HTTP servers. Why we're using HTTP servers? Because our information is there, but with the help of this HTTP protocol only, those servers will be able to collect information from the various location and connect. Okay, and connect towards the DNS, and from which connects toward the IP actually, and that produce on the DNS requested by the client. So every HTTP server has a get and head methods. Let's move. Let's understand the little bit working of HTTP by this figure. A client system. This is a system. We can say that this is client. Request the HTTP page to the server abcd.html. Checks if data is modified. Then it passed to the server. If modified, then request origin server to get modified page. Okay. Then server send the updated page. Then maybe there is a proxy cache, and finally HTTP receives the requested page. So first of all, let assume you request a data at 10:50 a.m. and modification is done at 10:52 a.m. At 10:53, when you again go for the request for this data on the server, you will get a modified request. What I want to explain that every time modification, whatever modification occurs, always the server will fetch the updated data. Now, this is the simple working of HTTP. Let's add some security in it. SSL, secure socket layer. Secure socket layer is a computer networking protocol for securing connections between network applications, client and servers over a secure network. So SSL is responsible for securing connection between different network applications. Maybe client and server have an insecure network, but with the help of SSL, we can we can secure our connection. What really the SSL do? SSL uses a combination of public key and symmetric key encryption to secure a connection between two machines. Typically, a web or mail server and a client system communicating over the internet or another TCP/IP network. Okay, SSL uses a combination of public key and symmetric key encryption to secure a connection between two machines. Typically, a web or mail server and a client system communicating over the internet or another TCP/IP network. So, SSL provides us, what is the takeaway from this? SSL provides us the key. It may be a public key, it may be a private key as well, but in general, the keys are public for the to make a what is a secure connection is all about. You will able to understand each and every uh, job, you know, which is done on that particular um, URL through this SSL. Because SSL is having a database of each and every operation, from which we are able to understand if any process, if any malware activity is going on. Due to this record only, we are able to understand that server now server is not server has been fetched by some unauthorized person. So where this SSL is very important. SSL is a combination of a public key and symmetric key, which is encrypted to secure a connection between two machines. I add in it. I can add in it. SSLs can be private as well. It's depend upon our country how we are going to configure our SSL. Okay. Typically, a webmail or mail server client system communicating with internet on another TCP/IP network. SSL provides a mechanism for encrypting and authenticating data sent between the processes running on a client server. Now, this is how SSL works. Client messages a server to initiate SSL TLS communication. Server send back an encrypted public key certificate. Okay. Client checks the certificate, creates and send an encrypted key back to server. Okay. Server decrypt the key and delivers encrypted content with the key to the client. Client decrypt the content, completing the SSL by TLS handshake. So how it is working? First of all, client messages server to initiate SSL. First of all, one need to initiate SSL from the server end. Server then send back up, encrypted public key, for the certificate. For the next step, client check the certificate, create and send an encrypted key back to the server. Now communication is established. He requests for some encryption and from security. Security is done through the public key and certificate. And once the certificate creates and encrypted key back to the server decrypt the key and delivers the encrypted content with the key to client. Client decrypt the content and complete SSL by TLS handshake. Okay. Now let's move. We have our HTTP, we have our SSL. Let's mix it up. When HTTP plus SSL happens, we have our new protocol, that is HTTPS. For the secure network, we use HTTPS. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol over Secure Socket Layer. Think of it as a secure version of HTTP. HTTPS stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol over a Secure Socket Layer. Think of its secure version of HTTP. HTTPS is used primarily on the web pages that ask you to provide a personal or sensitive information, such as password or your credit card details. When we browse a web page using HTTPS, we are using SSL. That's what I've said. When the HTTP is added with the secure circuit layer, this part become HTTPS. How HTTPS works? Let's understand. Firstly, I need to access a secure website. So when I check a DNS record, when I as a client request for that website, the first of all the DNS record will be checked, an IP address for IP address to find a new website host. Next, the website records form first of all let's assume I request www.google.com. Then from this DNS www.google.com, this DNS will change into an IP, and this IP will then go towards somewhere the website records where the host server will be there. Finally, requesting secure SSL connection from website host. Finally, requesting a secure socket layer connection from a website host is there. Now, requesting secure socket layer connection from website host. We have our web host. Next, after getting the web host, Web host respond with valid SSL certificate. Again, it is a public encrypted document. We can make it private. Again, I'm saying so it is possible, but in general, when the website communication occurs, public encryption is done. Sometimes we create a private SSL encryption within organizations, and it is a techie thing, but know this part also. Then finally, secure connection is now stabilized to transfer data in and transfer data is encrypted. Somehow, WhatsApp communication is also encrypted. So, in general, when you use that WhatsApp communication, you get a message that this is encrypted message. Well, this message will be encrypted. Your communication is will be not by anyone. So these are the things taken care by this SSL protocol. And when we combine this HTTP plus SSL, it's become HTTPS, which will become a secure network. Nowadays, many business transactions is happening on the internet with this protocol only. For a website to use HTTPS, it needs to have SSL certificate installed on the server. These are usually issued by the trusted third party, referred to as certificate authority. And these are this certificate authority is a national. In India, we have a certificate authority. Okay, trusted certificate on SFE is there. So government can every country has their certificate authority. Now, Indian government have a SFE, and if I'm able to remember, it is right now. It is also still he has having this business of providing the third party certificate authority to the communication. Next protocol. So a communication protocol, what we have discussed till date is the HTTP, then security concern with SSL, and finally we add HTTP plus SSL, and finally we get HTTPS. Now let's move towards the point-to-point network. Point-to-point protocol actually. Why need a point-to-point protocol? Point-to-point protocol is needed because it provides a method for transporting multi-protocol datagrams over point-to-point links. What is datagram? When we distribute our message into packets, that packets has been differentiated, that packet has a notified into the datagrams. Okay. There where the PPP is all about. There where the PP is working. Okay. So point-to-point protocol. Point-to-point protocol provides standard methods for transporting multi-protocol datagram over point-to-point link. The point-to-point protocol provides a standard method for transporting multiple protocol datagram over point-to-point links. See, point-to-point links mean to say that two computers are connected and we are able to process bits. Like, for example, see how link is going to establish. This is a network layer protocol, and and this link is termination is there, then link will be dead. When the link will be dead, we need to stabilize a new link. When it is success, it is authenticated. When it's success, the network protocol will again go. Again, if in between authentication network connection is cut, then again it is failure, then link termination message will there, link will be dead, again link will be stabilized, then authentication will be done, and finally network layer protocol will be able to work. Point to point, see, we understand with our TCP IP model, they are a very layers model there, and a single message passing, hi, how are you, is taking care where five steps from here from client as well as five steps from the server. So this is what a network layer protocols are. What is IP protocol is there, IP protocol is there, ARP is there. So these protocols actually need a connection. Okay, so network layer protocols need a connection. Without connection it is not possible. So for making a connection, we have a protocol known as the point-to-point protocol, and with the help of the point-to-point protocol, we encapsulate multi-protocol datagrams. What is encapsulation? easiest way to understand encapsulation is you have your you have your uh, medicine in the capsule form. When you open up that cover of capsule, you will able to understand there is some mixture of compound is there, and that is protected by this plastic cover. But we need to inhale all the plastic cover, which is the digestive actually. So that mixture of compound is protected by that capsule, and what the encapsulation is all about. This is what encapsulation is all about. Okay. Link control protocol for stabilizing, configuring, and testing the data link protection. A family of network control protocols stabilizing and configuring different layer protocols. PPP, point-to-point protocol, is a WAN protocol that is often used as a point-to-point link. Originally, PPP was used to dial-up connections. Now it is still used to DSL with the PPOE, PPP over Ethernet. If you are talking about Ethernet, then it is also used in LAN as well. And PPP over ATM. Sometimes it's like ATM is not fetching us money. Server connection nahi hai. Some sitting for person sitting out here say server connection. How it is possible? This is possible because PPP connection is not stabilized over ATM. Okay, this is for your CAN information. Let's move ahead. We have our STTP, SSL, HTTPS. Now PPP we discussed. Let's move up for POP3. What really the POP3 is? The full form of the POP3 is Post Office Protocol and has been around for many years. And it is referring us. It is what this Post Office Protocol is with us for many years. POP3 download your mail as you view on your email client. So whenever we are using any Gmail or Yahoo Mail or Rediff Mail, this POP3 is reason from which we are able to download our mail. It was a great users who want to access their mail from one client. It is now out of the date and practical. POP3 protocol version 3 is used to client to access internet mail server to get mail. It is not a transport layer protocol. If we are able to understand this, if you have an experience of the administrator of a website, this internet mail server concept you will came across. Okay, POP3 is the most recent version of the standard protocol of receiving an email. POP3 is a client-server protocol in which email is received and held for you by your internet server. Periodically, you or your client email receiver check your mailbox on the server and download any protocol using POP3. This standard protocol is built into most popular email products such as Edora or Outlook Express. It is built into the Netscape Navigator and the Microsoft Internet Explorer browsers as well. POP3 is designed to delete mail on the server as soon as the user has downloaded it. Very important phenomenon. Once the user downloaded the mail, it will be deleted from the server. So space is automatically, garbage collection is automatically taken care by this protocol. However, some implementation allows you to administrate to specify that mail will be saved some period of the time. POP can be thought of the store and forward service. See, why we need to implement so much protocol? One must understand that computer having its own intellect. We need to provide interact with our protocols, with our programming. See, this is a simple POP protocol communication process. This is our remote mail server. This is our remote mail server which is connected with the internet. One system, one system is requesting a mail, and with the help of the simple mail transfer protocol, remote mail server will able to fetch that mail. Now that mail through the internet go to again some remote server, and this POP3 will able to receive a mail and download it onto the client computer. The alternative protocol is nowadays advancement is always happening. So nowadays alternative protocol is internet message access protocol. IMAP provides the user mobile more capability for retaining email on the server and for organizing its folder in a server. IMAP can be thought of as a remote server, remote file server. POP and IMAP deal with the receiving of email and are not to be confused with the simple mail transfer protocol. Simple mail transfer protocol is protocol which is used to transfer email across the internet. You send email with SMTP and a mail handler receive it on your recipient behalf. Then the mail is read using POP or IMAP. So both works, in a different arena. SMTP is just used for sending, and POP or IMAP instant message access protocol is used for receiving the mail. So see, small send the sending receiving part is you know divided into two phenomena. One phenomenon is taken care by SMTP and second phenomenon is taken care by POP. Let's move and let's have an understanding of the IMAP as well. IMAP stands for Internet Message Access Protocol. It is standard email protocol to store email messages on mail server, but allow the end user to view and manipulate the message through they stored locally on the end user device. This allows user to organize messages into folders. Nowadays, if you are using this Google Gmail service, you will be able to connect with this line. End user to view and manipulate the message as though they are stored locally on the end user computing device. This allows user to organize message into folders, have multiple client application, known which message has been read, flag message for urgency or follow up, and save draft to the server. Let's move on. How this IMP is work? See, we have an internet mail access protocol server, and some working computer is logging in it, or while traveling somebody log in at it. He will able to understand read that message. Okay, and from this server only we can send to the home computer, to the cyber cafe, to the public library. So sending part is not for downloading. For downloading the information from the server through email, this protocol take care of the thing. This protocols take care of the thing. What is SMTP? Email is emerging as one of the most valuable service on the internet today. Most internet systems systems use SMTP. SMTP is just a sending protocol. For your understanding, understand this. Okay. SMTP is a method to transfer mail from one user to another. SMTP is a push protocol and used to send the mail, whereas the POP or IMP are used to retrieve those mails. This is a very basic difference what we have discussed. So SMTP fundamentals. SMTP is an application layer protocol. The client who wants to send the mail opens a TCP connection to the SMTP server and then sends the mail across the connection. SMTP server is always on listening mode. As soon as it's listen for a TCP connection from any client, the SMTP process initiate and connection on that port 25. So SMTP port is port 25. Okay. After successful exfiltration TCP connection, the client process sends the mail instantly. Now, there are two models of protocol: end-to-end, store and forward. End-to-end model uses the communication between different organizations, where the store and forward methods are used within other organizations. Okay. Okay. SMTP client who wants to send the mail will contact the destination host SMTP directly in order to send the mail to the destination. The SMTP server will keep the mail to itself until it's successfully copied to the receiver's SMTP. A client SMTP is the one which initiates the session. Let us call it as the client SMTP, and the server SMTP is the one which responds to the session request, and let us call as it a receiver SMTP. The client SMTP will start the session, and receiver SMTP will respond the request. How SMTP works? User demand SMTP. Okay, sender. Then SMTP commands and replies them. Receiver at the receiver and SMTP. Receiver fetches this data from the file system. Then it sends mail, and finally the user file system is completed. So this is what a protocol is all about. Let's understand again this stack in our third lecture series of protocol. So in the hardware thing is a network thing. Then we with the point-to-point protocol, with the use of Ethernet, then we process then up the data link layer it push towards the network layer, that is IP, which uses IPv4 nowadays. IPv6 is also in use. But for the transportation we use TCP IP. Okay, and for the application layer we have our HTTP, SMTP, and RTP. For UDP we have RDP and MPLAY. And for the user to be able to understand, we have our different softwares, browser softwares like Firefox, Silverlink. So this is what this is a TCP IP model stack. We have internet protocol, then like TPP. We have IP, then TCP, UDP. Then at the application we have HTTP and POP3. So I'm sure with this you are able to understand how this all the layer is working. How QuaSI model, how this QuaSI model has been changes. Why this small changes have been defined within the QuaSI model, that the physical layer, data link layer, network layer, transport layer, session layer, presentation and application layer. See, and this is what converted to the network layer, interface layer, network layer, transport layer, application layer. Network interface layer has the hardware content, but TPP, that hardware content like Ethernet token, other link layers protocol like TP, point-to-point protocol. Okay. Then after that we have our IP. In transport layer we have our TCP and OTP. In application layer we have our HTTP, FTP, TEL and SMTP, DNS. Many are there. So if you are able to understand this concept of overall the concept of the protocols with the help of this protocol rack and protocol stack, then we understand what we have studied till then. We had studied about TCP IP. We have studied about Internet Control Message Protocol. We have studied UDP. We have studied ANP. Now we need to visit last lecture of this. We have a RARP, we have a DNS, DSCP. Then today we learn about HTTP, then HTTPS, SSL, APP point-to-point protocol. POP3 is there, then IMP is there, and SMTP is there. So, for this figure only we have our subject like computer networks. For this figure only, to understand this figure, indeed we have our subject computer networks. I hope you will explore better at that place. My job was to make you aware about these words actually, not concepts. When you are able to aware, then you are able to connect how this web platform is doing, what a server is all about, what is a client is all about, how this server client is connecting through internet network, and what is network is all about. So network is nothing, it is a protocol stack, and how it is working. We discussed little bit in our last 2 lectures and this lecture circle. So I hope in the next lecture we will move ahead with this, and we will discuss how the web projects we use to write proposals of the web projects. And happy learning. Take care. All the best.